are back, episode 148 of Journey to a Million, here on this Wednesday evening. Full squad, Zack Rausch, Jared Valleskey, myself, Drew Skyberg, and coaches keep getting hired. Good playoff games this past weekend, and then we're all rooting for the Bills this weekend. So, I mean, Zack might be secretly rooting for the Chiefs. I don't know. Someone is.
No, I thought Bills were one of my teams.
Yeah, Bills are one of his 6 or 7.
Let's name them: Chargers,
Packers,
Jets,
Bills, Packers,
Dolphins, Jets,
Dolphins. There's 5.
I'm actually hated the Chargers and Dolphins.
He's a Jaguars fan because of
Jaguars.
Lawrence.
Oh, how did I forget?
Yep.
A Bengals fan too.
Yeah, Bengals fan. He loves Jamar. Surprised he's not a Seahawk or a Cowboys or not a Cowboys. Eagles fan for Saquon because.
He doesn't like Saquon. Remember last week?
Yeah, but if he has a good, he's a Jets fan because of Garrett Wilson. Like if he has,
I'm fans of teams that I have guys in fantasy on.
Well,
he's probably a Cardinals fan for Trey McBride too.
I don't have Trey. Well, I only have Trey McBride one place.
Bucks fan for Bucky Irving.
I don't have any Bucky Irving. I don't have him a single time.
Oh.
He hates the Colts. He hates the Ravens because he doesn't like JC or Henry. What else does he hate? I don't know. Obviously, the Bears, his own division, he hates, which is normal. But then,
I
don't know who else doesn't he like?
Okay, I don't know. Garrett Wilson dynasty value was what Zach talked about before. What do you think, Zach? What Jared and I seem to be far apart. All I said was just who first, and I say middle first. I'm not saying
you can easily look this up too to see what he's actually going for.
Yeah, Drew, you're gonna be surprised. It's probably pretty close to what Drew said.
I'm not even looking. I'm guessing.
I would say, this year, if you get a pick 106 to 110 in the first next year.
What kind of first are we talking? Are we talking
middle,
2025, 2026?
2025 plus 2026. Middle. That's my guess. Guess the value.
Mid first. Yeah, no. So I just put in one first so far. 2026 mid first.
There's going to be a value adjustment that may.
There is a value adjustment in Wilson's favor. 9,800 to 7,700. It's about 2,100 off.
Got the actual picks.
So yeah, it did. You get 1.01, 1.02. But no, it's about 2,000. I would say if I put in a 2025 first and a 2026 mid second, that's fair. Yeah, I'm doing it too. 2025 mid first, 2026 mid second is exactly equal. It's like 200 off.
Really?
Yeah. So a first and a future
to go a little bit over equal. So
it is over equal. It is
108, 2026 mid first, and I'd say that's probably what you have to go up to get them. But
yeah, I got a mid first this year and a mid second next year, and that works. Maybe an early second next year.
I wouldn't trade him for that, but to your point, Jared, if that's what that says, that's what that says.
Well, I mean, I kind of agree. I wouldn't trade 2 firsts for Wilson. I mean, not until I see where he goes or his quarterback, and that's why you trade him now. Because,
on both sides, you're speculating.
I'm talking through a trade, and Garrett Wilson's kind of like the sticking point, which is why I brought it up.
Let's hear a trade.
Well, it got quite a bit bigger.
So let's hear it.
I would be getting Juwan Jennings.
Wow.
Trey McBride. Rashee Rice.
Okay.
The 103. The 203.
I hate trades like this. I cannot stand it. I cannot. Oh, no.
Decline. You guys are swapping rosters.
Okay.
That's what it is. It's changing teams. It's not a trade. It's a team swap.
Okay. Picks-wise, I would get 103, 203, and a 2026 second. I'd be giving up the 105 and 109. I'd say that's not too far off. Right?
That's fine. They're fair.
And then I would be getting Jennings, McBride, and Rice, giving up Garrett Wilson, Kincaid, Marvin Harrison.
Why do you want Jennings?
Yeah,
even if they get rid,
I don't. He
like
put that in
still
there.
like the second or third.
No, I went through that trade, Zach.
He's a free agent, I believe.
Jennings isn't going to go somewhere and be number one.
He's out of all the guys. I mean, the older guys.
No, let him.
He's more
let
likely
him get Jennings,
to,
just like he didn't want Shakir last year. You know, he likes giving up players or getting players
Jared,
that are either going to have a big role or. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, you're going to get Jennings, it's going to be terrible, and you give up Shakir, and it's terrible. No matter what you do with receivers, it always backfires on you. So,
Jesus Christ, what did I do to you?
I traded with you 20 times before I traded with Drew once. So,
what I was trying to do, I was trying to get Wilson out. So I was trying to do like McBride and Rice for Kincaid, Harrison, and then like some pick swaps. So I was going to give them like the 109. And move back in the second or something like that. But
so you're giving up Kincaid and Harrison for pennies on the dollar. Is how I look at it. I mean they could go lower, but like, do you feel like Kincaid after this year? I mean, do you think he's gonna go lower? I mean, in terms of value.
Do you think he's gonna go higher?
Well,
what I saw from this year's Bills aren't gonna make him a focal point of the offense, so. I feel like this is just what Kincaid's going to be.
Okay. Do you think it has to do anything with James Cook's touchdown numbers this year?
I mean, a little bit, yeah, but
he goes from like 2 or 4 to 16.
Remember, it doesn't matter.
My other thing is
because if someone has 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, he's 2 touchdown reliant. So Zach's kind of weird with touchdowns. Remember that?
That was nice. But like Marvin Harrison, for example, Zach, do you think his value is going to be any lower than it is from year one here after year one?
Probably not.
But I'm speculating, obviously, and I'm also looking at these guys, But like a guy like Chris Olave is someone I won't be trading. Obviously, it's a little different here, but like I kind of take those young receivers who lost a lot of fantasy value from the start of the year. And those are guys I wouldn't trade right now. Those are holds for me. And you're trading 2 holds for me.
Yeah, I guess
you're buying high on Jennings and you're selling low.
Something not to cut you off, Zach. Something Zach does. I think in the offseason you just like to do a lot. Whereas some owners some owners stick to their team. You probably look at stuff and you're like, oh, okay. So you'll go team by team. You're like, Wilson, he might have a good year. Let's go out and trade for him. Oh, this guy might have a good year. Let's trade for him.
Or realistically,
you kind of ignore what your team did the year before, and you just kind of look for the best option, like value picks always.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to upgrade a tight end from Kincaid. That's like one of my goals.
But why? He's on his third year. I mean, you don't know what. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's also like if you get a top tight end, that's 10.
But Kincaid still had a decent year. I mean, he still was averaging
he's tight end 30.
10 points a game.
Maybe Zach. Maybe
he also didn't play as many weeks. He only played 10 games. But.
I know my initial reaction was harsh. It's still a fair trade. I'm sure even if you put that in any kind of, but not even calculator side, it's still a fair trade just because of, having a top, arguably, probably tight end 2. I'm going to say just because I'll take Bowers over him, but you have tight end 2 in fantasy, let's say 12-team league. I'm sure, I there's no denying the value of that compared to what you're giving up. You're getting the best piece in the deal, I'd say, from a dynasty standpoint. I think that's a fair point to make. Maybe Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, it's also the 103
or Garrett Wilson.
105.
Yeah,
because at the 103 in Superflex, you're getting Tet, Gianti, or Ward probably.
Yeah, but right now it looks good. I still take the proven guys over the draft picks. We're talking. Well, but Jared, we're talking not like old guys. We're not talking Cooper Kupp. We're talking Marvin Harrison.
He's proven to be falling off. I'm talking.
Okay, but I guess that's a poor example. Garrett Wilson, we're talking about.
Yeah. Just say
Yeah,
Puka or
that's-
something. Proven
If
to be good
Wilson
if he's
wasn't
healthy.
in that deal and is somebody else that I didn't like as much, I would be doing the deal right now.
Yeah.
Like that's
Okay, we're
what's
acting-
stopping me.
yeah. Marvin Harrison's stats compared to his father. So Marvin Harrison Jr. compared to his father his stats are nearly the same. I saw.
You want to
when I
go
was
there?
doing it. No, but I bring up the point, Jared, is like we're acting like
Yeah.
they were that bad. We're acting like
Yeah, I
Marvin
know, I know.
Harrison Jr.'s rookie year was a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, for the
I know
only
what
thing
you're
is a
saying, but by
disaster
the
was really. Go ahead.
by the same logic, you could say Richardson's a 5-time MVP Hall of Famer, just like Peyton Manning was his first year. You know, like I know what you're saying though, but it's just kind of something you can do.
Well, I'm looking at year one, Jared. I have not had year two for Marvin Harrison Jr. I have for Anthony Richardson, though.
Yeah. Well, Richardson had a better year one than Peyton Manning did. So, just saying.
Yeah, but we
Just
don't know his
saying.
year two.
Just saying. Well, for our sake, with our cards that we have, we kind of hope he has a big year.
Well, how about I saw he was visiting Josh Allen's throwing specialist, right?
He's not visiting him. He hired him as his new trainer. Yeah.
Thank you. I figured you had the scoop on it, but like all I'm saying, when that guy helped, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen can do what Richardson does, but he doesn't get hurt doing it. So if Richardson can learn how to like take the hits and stay healthy and still produce like he can, I feel like that's good. But I don't know. And now Steichen's going for someone that no matter what happens, our defense is going to be terrible again. I mean, you know how bad the Bengals defense was, and now it's like, oh, that guy, that's who we want right there.
We can't look at. I mean, I don't know if you can look at it like that. You know, like remember when the Packers hired last year? Recall the Boston College defense last year, or I say last year, but like for their last season, points per game they allowed. I think it was high 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So, just a note.
I don't know.
So, I don't know.
I know this Colts team. We're gonna go 9-8 this year.
That's good. That's on par for a Colts season.
8-9 last year, 9-8 this year.
Yeah, game better.
And then Ballard will be gone, and then we'll finally start to get an actual team going.
Wait, do you think Ballard's the problem? I shouldn't say
I think he
problem.
gets
He's probably a part
covered up a
of it.
lot. He gets a lot of excuses made for him. Oh, he drafted good 6 years ago, so let's stick with him. Like, we're holding on to that 2018 draft still with Quentin Nelson and Zaire.
It's a good draft.
It's like, yeah, but since then we haven't drafted anyone. Like
JT.
This last year, well, that's This last year, I think I told you this. We cut our 5th, 6th, and 7th round draft picks.
It didn't work
So
out.
we only had like 5 people out of the draft that actually stayed on our team. Stupid.
Well, head coaching carousel continues, and to a shock, after Detroit gets upset, and they weren't fraudulent though per Zach. It wasn't, it just happened. Great team.
Explain that, Zach.
15-win team. They get upset first round. Season's not a disaster though. I mean, they did what they needed, and now they lose both coordinators and a D-line coach. D-line coach goes to the Patriots as their new DC under Vrabel, and then we see right away Ben Johnson must have been lined up, goes to the Bears. Aaron Glenn today on Wednesday to the Jets. No, nothing, Zach.
This is stupid hire.
What?
No, I want to hear you about the Lions. How are the Lions? How is that a fraudulent loss?
How is that not?
Yeah, how is it not?
I just said they're not frauds. Like, they were a good team, and Washington just played lights out. Detroit made a few mistakes. It wasn't like
4 turnovers.
Yeah. It's like the Vikings looked like shit. That's
the last 2 weeks of the year. The last 2 weeks of the year they did, yes. They beat good teams throughout the year. They beat you guys twice. You can't say they looked like shit when they beat you guys twice.
Yeah, I'm saying they got to the playoffs and looked like shit in their playoff game. I'm talking about one game.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm saying
That's fair.
Detroit made it to the
agree with
playoffs. They didn't look like shit. They just made 3-4 boneheaded mistakes, and Washington played a lights out game.
Maybe
How is 4 turnovers giving up 45 points not looking like shit? I don't understand your point here. How is that not? You can't just say that, oh, Detroit played
They were
bad. How about
competitive,
Washington played great?
I just said Washington played lights out. What do you not understand?
Yeah, but you're covering up the fact that Detroit had a terrible game. The Vikings had a terrible game, and they're frauds. But the Vikings had a terrible game. Oh, they're good.
Yeah, because Detroit was at least competitive in the game. Minnesota, from the end of the first quarter, you knew they were going to get smoked.
Competitive is losing by 16 or 15. I don't know. I don't think that's really competitive.
I thought, okay, Zach. Maybe our conversation via text. They definitely were more competitive and like looking at the start of the postseason. This team was definitely still a contender. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to like make any kind of crazy claim. They won 15 games. They had some great wins. They had some blowout wins. This was a great team. I think injuries caught up to them. I also, I think some of the play calling in this game too. I mean, why? Okay, and obviously hindsight's 2020. But why have Jamison Williams even have an opportunity to throw a ball? Obviously, if it works, they look like a hero. But like, come on, the receiver's going to throw the ball every time if they get it. I just feel like that's just how we've seen those plays go, especially the last few weeks. Maybe that's just from the Bears game in my head. But
don't play call.
Also, Goff, some tough plays. Maybe he was hurt. Maybe concussion stuff. That fourth and 2 at the goal line where they have 12 guys on the field.
That's not just a mistake you make. Sorry.
Yeah, I just can't discount these all as mistakes.
Yeah.
Their defense was overhyped from the regular season. Like their defense wasn't good as good as everyone thought. But their offense was legit. And like the defense was middle of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
So I feel like you said,
but they're not frauds
before
in
the playoffs started.
They were legit.
You said before the playoffs started. You said the reason that the Ravens, the reason that the Vikings, you said all these reasons.
I backed off on the
Okay, but you said that they're not going to make it because their defense isn't good enough, and now you just said the Lions' defense is middle of the pack, but you think they had a chance to make it.
Yeah, the Lions' offense wasn't the Vikings' offense, or Lions had the best offense in the NFL.
What about the Rams? Could they have made it? Because their defense is terrible, but they have a good.
They had all the sacks.
Their defense was one of the best in the playoffs.
They came up with sacks, yes, but they still didn't look good. Like they're not a good defense. They had two great games. Jared Verse just had a great, rookie season.
Yeah, their defense is probably like Lions' defense, except Lions' offense is 10 times better than the Rams' offense.
How? Goff hasn't won a Super Bowl. Stafford has won a Super Bowl. He still has that in him.
Oh my God! That was 4 years ago. It's completely different offenses. You took 2 quarterbacks.
Let's dissect
the other 10 guys that play on the field.
Let's dissect this. You said the Lions offense is 10 times better than the Lions or than the Rams offense. The Lions offense is 10 times better than the Rams offense. That's what you said, right? Okay, go. Stafford.
If I'm ranking offenses, Lions are 1, Rams are probably like 12 or 13. Somewhere in there. Around like the 10 to 15 range.
Come on, I'm waiting. Rams, Lions, Stafford, Goff. Who's better?
I guess probably Stafford, I guess. But Goff played good with Ben Johnson.
Okay. So let's just go with it. Running backs. Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyren Williams.
Yeah, Lions by a mile. Right? Offensive line.
Okay.
Lions by a mile. Receivers.
Kyren Williams is amazing. How?
Yeah. Are you on crack? Amon-Ra and Puka, pretty equal. Jameson Williams and Cooper Kupp. Kupp forgot how to play football in week 10.
You think Jameson Williams is a great wide receiver too?
He's better than Kupp has been.
Has been, yeah, but you can't just say that Jameson Williams.
Yeah,
I know.
Jameson
Williams is not. Jameson Williams is not that good. Tim Patrick is their number 3. They don't have a good receiving core outside of Amon-Ra. They don't.
Who's the Rams number 3?
They have Sam
Marcus
Laporta.
Robinson?
Yeah, or Higby.
Probably. Yeah, I'm not arguing that their number 3 is better. I think they have a better one. Like, I
Then
don't know.
why are you
I think that they're
freaking out
pretty
Tim
equal.
Patrick is a number 3.
I'm talking about their whole receiving core. I think that you said it's by a mile better than the than the Rams. That's just not true. You just said Puka and Amon-Ra kind of cancel out, which we can agree on.
Yeah, Jameson.
That's not by a mile better then, because their 2 and 3 are a little bit better. That's not by a mile.
Right.
That's barely better.
Clearly better. Lions clearly
No.
better.
Better,
Laporta,
not clearly,
Clearly
but
better than Higby.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So their running back is a little better because Kyron Williams is a dog. You can't even say he's not even close to Gibbs because he's pretty damn good.
Have you seen Jahmyr Gibbs?
Kyron Williams is a touchdown machine.
In the NFL.
Oh my God, you hype him up so much that because of dynasty purposes.
Gibbs had like 50,
he's a great running back for dynasty.
200 yards.
60 fantasy points.
And look at Kyron Williams. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, Jahmyr Gibbs is a great fantasy running back. He's the best in the league. Maybe the best dynasty fantasy running back. Yeah, sure. Not the best running back. Saquon's better. Derrick Henry's better. By your stance, Bucky Irving's probably better. Like,
right, Kyron Williams, 2024 yards per carry. What is it?
Well, it was like 4.2 maybe.
4.11. What do you think
good.
Gibbs is?
Mm-hmm.
It's like 5.5.
5.3.
Yeah, it's it's somewhere in the 5s. It's over 5. I can tell you that. So you tell me.
He averages like 0.8. 0.8. I didn't say Kyron is better than Gibbs. I'm not making that argument, but you're saying it's by a long shot. Yes, it's close.
It's 25% difference.
But we're just looking at yards per carry, Zach. We're not talking blocking. Yeah. We're not talking. But obviously, if I say receiving, that's a Gibbs case. Gibbs is better. Gibbs is better. Yes, it's closer than what you're making out to be, Zach. But it's also not.
How about this? I'll look at Sam Laporta. I look at Tyler Higbee. That's clear better for Sam Laporta. Clear. That's better, right?
Okay.
We can agree on that.
Clearly lines.
Yeah.
Exactly to my point. Jahmyr Gibbs can thrive off that offensive line because the Rams' offensive line is pretty poopy. It's pretty bad. So that doesn't mean that they're better. That just means they have a better system. Like, you can't say that Kenneth Gainwell is better than Bijan Robinson because he has a better line in front of him. Like, I don't know. You're saying like A tier and like F tier. It's like A and B. Like I'm saying the Lions have a better core.
B-.
That's what I said. A and B, not B minus, but A and B, which is not clearly better. Like if I think of B and an A, it's like okay, A and B. One's better, one's right there. You're making it seem like it's A and F. Like, oh my God, clearly better, way better.
Kyron Williams is like
10 times better.
10 in the NFL. Something like that.
And you're ignoring, okay, so 10. And you're ignoring that Stafford is probably number 7 and Goff is probably number 12. Like, you're just ignoring that fact.
All right, nope, Lions offense is better.
Rams defense is better.
Reason to believe otherwise.
Rams defense is better. Rams defensive line is like the best in the league as shown in the last few games. Apparently, besides like the Chiefs, they had a lot of sacks too, but you can't argue that it's so much better, especially when one got traded for the other, and the one that got traded to the Rams ended up winning the Super Bowl. Stafford is amazing. I don't care if it was 3 years ago. He did it.
Yet?
The Rams.
Every time JT comes up, you talk about his 1,800-yard year. That was the same year. Back in 2020 again.
2,000 yards. All right, 2,000. He didn't have 18. It was 2,000.
2,000, did he?
Yeah, he had receiving yards. Like total.
I personally think
can't even get that right. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think the Rams are gonna be.
I got it right. I didn't know you're talking about rushing.
Obviously, with how the Rams ended the year, but like, I think it's safe to say because just look how hot they were. You know, they won 5 in a row. They lost the last game where they started nobody, and then I think if it wasn't for weather, I think they're in the NFC Championship game. I know that's an easy cop out in a winter game, but based on how they played, I won't say the run defense, but I think it's gonna be a great football team next year. I think they're the clear front runners in the NFC West. I think this team, you know, if I got to look more at their division, obviously they won the division, so it's a little tough in terms of their schedule going to be next year. But you definitely would think this team is slated to win again 10 or 11 games based on how the defense performed at the end of the year.
Stafford retires.
I saw he did finish the year with broken ribs. I saw he was playing out on, which you could kind of tell during the game, I feel. But
you know what's funny about this? I'm sorry to say this, but like after 2021, when they won the Super Bowl, right? I keep saying that. After that year, they had that hangover where they had a terrible 2022. Then last year they were average, and this year they're better than last year. They've been in the conversation as a contender for the last 4 years. The Lions just made 2 good years in a row, and now they don't have experience like the Rams do. You know, I'm not comparing them anymore, but like the Rams have a great future ahead of them, and I don't know what the Lions will have next year. I mean, obviously they'll have their core, but they already lost their coaches, and
Are you saying
I don't know. I think the Rams are
next year.
I never said that. I said they might not be as good. This is like the best year they've had in their franchise.
Well, they still have favorites to win the North.
I don't know if they're going to hold up.
I'd say
I don't know if they'll be favorites. Honestly, I think the Packers get boosted a lot because they're young and they're aging. You know, they're getting more experience.
Packers going to be like third in the division.
Packers will be second. I mean, Zach, look at the look at the free agents for Minnesota and look at their caps room. They have the largest percent of their active roster who's going to be free agents out of all 32 teams. I think year in, year out, Packers will be still favored to be second, I feel. I think if I had to put, and I'm not looking at futures right now, and it's hard to kind of get an accurate one right now. You'd think Detroit still could easily be at 11.5, 12.5 games as an over-under, even with their schedule. Just looking at, again, this team won 15 games this past year. I know coordinator spots are going to need the change. I think the big thing is who they hire as the OC. You know, I think that's going to be the big one, though. That's really going to move the needle.
If you go back to Dan Campbell's first year as the head coach, they were, I think it was
1-15. Yeah, they ended 1-15 that year.
Maybe the second year then. The year I'm
his first year, I know his first year he celebrated a week 16 win, and that made him 1-15. He was 0-4.
You're talking about Zach, the year they eliminated Green Bay, the last game we were at?
Second, yeah.
I'm talking about the year that was it Anthony Lynn, I think, was his offensive play caller? Or whoever his play caller was, they fired him like after week 9 or something. With that play caller, they're 0-8-1. Dan Campbell called plays for the rest of the year, and they're like 2-3. They're 2-3 or something like that. And that was the same St. Brown's rookie year. So that's when he had that late year surge in his rookie year. That's when Dan Campbell started calling plays.
Do you think he's going to assume play calling duties?
I think that would not be the preference in Detroit, but it wouldn't be out of the question.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's. They obviously haven't announced who they're looking at right now yet for coordinators. I don't have any kind of interviews, any kind of. There's no.
Their
kind of
offensive line coach is gone too now. He went
Yep. Or defensive line, I believe, because Vrabel, DC.
Their offensive line coach is the offensive coordinator in Chicago now.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're down now 4 guys.
Just want to let you guys know, last year the Lions went 12-5, and that was their franchise best record. They've never won 12 games in a season. Now they won 15, which is obviously 3 more than ever before. Going back to 1930, they haven't won anything over 11. I know there was only 15 or 16 back then, but still. Like, there's not much stats to show like how they performed after their best season, besides like when they went 12-4 and they lost in the conference championship back in 1990. The next season they went 5-11, and they finished in 5th in the.
I think we gotta look at the players. They didn't.
No, what I'm saying is, I know, I get that, but like my point is, like, you can't. Their season just ended. with any team, not just the Lions. How are you supposed to say like the Rams when they won the Super Bowl, the next year they were going to win 12 games? I mean,
No, it's
NFL
impossible.
is
It's
weird.
a
Like
whole
look at the
offseason.
Bengals. Yeah, look at the Bengals when they were projected to win 3 and they made the Super Bowl. You know, I hate to be the guy that just says, "Well, you never know. You don't know. Anything can happen." But like Dan Campbell said last year, you never guaranteed moments like that. And
They also have
kind of
almost
threw it away
30
2
million
years in a
cap
row.
space.
Oh, okay. That
They're
always
sixth in
helps.
the
I
league.
mean, do they even need to go out and sign? I don't think they need to change anything really.
They're losing a guard, Kevin Zeitler. He's a free agent. Probably going to extend. Hutchinson's up for extension, so I don't know. I'd assume they're going to extend
Already?
him, but they might wait until after his 4th year.
I was gonna say this would be his 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have 5th year option. You have another offseason yet. But I think like they have some like none of their stars are free agents, but they have some of those like second, third guys, top bench options, rotational guys that are free agents.
Yeah.
So, kind of a side thing. Obviously, I'm happy, or I'm like great for Ben Johnson getting that position and stuff. Like, obviously, he earned it and kind of making the move right away. But doesn't optically it look kind of bad that his team got eliminated under 48 hours and he's already in there talking about how great Chicago is going to be?
What's fake?
I don't think it wasn't more Chicago was going to be great. It's more like saying what he wants for the fans, and he's saying that, oh, we both hate the Packers. Let's beat LaFleur. You know,
I'm not saying
it's
that
more
part.
joking, I think.
Oh no. I'm not saying like the fact that he was saying anything, but just the fact that he announced already. Like it seemed that the foot was already in the door, you know, if you will.
He did virtual interviews with them before the season.
Oh yeah, during the bye week.
Yeah,
that's allowed per league rules, and I'm not faulting him for taking the position or on his, maybe not on his side. I just think too. I can see the Lions fans, right? You lose, and there's a lot of critiques on the offensive play calling that game with the turnovers and how your offense performed, and let alone the defense. We see, just a couple days after. I guess I could see the frustrations from a fan perspective, maybe how people who cover the team, even just how it shook out. But that was both those guys who were coveted, taken, and now we're kind of trying to predict the other markets. We say Salah or Brady to the Jags. It looks like Brian Schottenheimer, right now the Cowboys OC, is the favorite for that job. I think a little surprising.
Which one of you guys said the Jets job was appealing?
I think both of us.
Which one of you guys said that? Did you?
I didn't say that.
You said that, Zach.
Because
it was middle of the pack.
Yeah. Well,
everybody
is
like on
versus the Raiders or Jaguars.
Oh, well, not Jaguars. I'd say Jaguars are about the same, but over the Raiders, yeah.
Well, all these talk shows were saying that the Jets job is like the worst job out there that nobody wanted to accept.
Oh, well, New York media. I guess if you're looking at it from that perspective.
Yeah,
well, I mean, it's just
by the media.
Everything in New York. I mean, so what was your like bias saying that someone might want to accept that job? Like that would be willing to go in there with, you don't know who the coach will be, you don't know your receivers.
They have a lot of talent on their roster.
Better than the Raiders. We didn't list it number one. Nobody listed it number 1 or 2.
No. It was like middle of the pack because they have talent. Like they don't have a quarterback. That's the biggest issue. But they have talent on their roster. Yeah. That's why it's better than like the Raiders or Saints, because those teams don't have a quarterback and they also have no talent anywhere else.
And I'll tell you, the Patriots, that's the one that we talked about. I think that one, again, we talked about this last time, is one of the most appealing ones.
Yeah, Patriots were up there with the Bears.
But the Bears, young quarterback, a lot of cap space, draft capital.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of fits all of the, the spots. And obviously there's expectations for those teams. I'd say Chicago more so now than New England. But like really, if New England won 6 games next year and they didn't do what the Commanders did, are you Is that a major disappointment? Maybe I'm looking too far in advance. I don't know what moves they're going to make free agency. Obviously, as the moves come in, we might say 7 or 8 wins. But my point is that team didn't finish over 500. You wouldn't say Drake May's second year was a disappointment, maybe, just based on how they performed this past year.
If they get to like 7 or 8, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
6 is kind of on like the.
Yeah, maybe that was a poor example to start. But like I feel like for the Jaguars, I feel like there is, you don't have a rookie quarterback. Sometimes he plays like one, but you don't have a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
How much do you credit Dan Quinn for Commanders then? How much do you credit that for the Commanders' success?
I credit Adam Peters. I credit, but I get what you're saying. Like obviously Quinn, I think gets credit, and I think you gotta give Cliff Kingsbury credit, the offensive play caller. So I don't know. I could quantify it, but I would say you're definitely acknowledging Dan Quinn as a reason that team is as successful as they are. I think it starts with Jane Daniels. If Jane Daniels didn't play this way, so
that's why I think that like if they still have Trevor or Taylor Heineke and Dan Quinn goes there, like they don't win 12.
Oh yeah,
games 13, 14. They win 8, 6 games.
Yeah,
I think
right.
That's a lot of the thing with like. That's what I never understood. I don't know if you guys can explain that to me. I never understood in the NFL how a guy like Cliff Kingsbury is on the Cardinals and they win 4 or 5 games, gets fired. Now he's hired in Washington and he's looked at as one of the best OCs in the game because he has 12 wins. And like, I know it's play calling. I get that. But how can someone be so hated on as a head coach and then he gets a different job and he's on a better team, a far better team? They perform better, maybe not because of him, but the team just performs better, maybe because of him. And now he's just glorified as the best OC, one of the best OCs in the modern game. How does that even happen?
Wins and losses.
Yeah,
but seriously, I mean, it's a win or loss game.
So what if Matt Canada tomorrow gets hired as a head coach? I know he's not gonna, but gets hired as a head coach of the Patriots. And the Patriots go on and win 14 games next year. Is that credit to how good of a coach he is? Because like he was terrible as a DC. Like that's the difference I don't get. How can someone be so bad and so hated, then gets another opportunity, has a decent year because his team is just so good, and he gets all the credit for it? That's why I don't credit coaches that much credit. Like Kingsbury, I don't give him that much credit for it because he was a terrible head coach.
We're not in these interviews either. I think the other big thing is too how these guys interview and. That's how they are hired, right? And maybe also the schematic fit. The thought was, right? I mean, Cliff. Right? We talked about this last. Kyler's best years. I mean, they were with Cliff Kingsbury. That's who he I'd say really grew as a player with. So if you look at right, you have a young quarterback, Jane Daniels. That must have also. I mean, I would definitely assume that's a part of the hiring equation, right?
Yeah.
From an outside perspective, it almost looked like in Arizona, Cliff could run an offense. Obviously, he had Kyler playing good football, but it looked like at times he almost got caught up in the other part of head coaching, and the offense started fluttering or whatever. Like it wasn't clicking on all cylinders. Whereas now, as a strict offensive coordinator, you have one focus. Like you're not trying. Like you have no part of the defense really. You're not trying to motivate the whole team.
Yeah. Winning the locker room.
Yeah, it's like that's
a good point.
Now on somebody else's plate, so you can focus solely on offense. Whereas when he was in Arizona, it almost seemed like sometimes that kind of took over his focus from strictly the offense, and that probably like that's why there's tons of guys that are good coordinators but aren't good at head coaches.
Like Shane Steichen. I mean, he got so much praise on the Eagles, and now he had a good year last year. He was almost a coach of the year favorite, but now he's like, I still have faith, but I'm just saying like, if he has a bad year next year, he could get fired. And he was like one of the best OCs with Jalen Hurts. A lot of people give him credit for, what he did with Jalen Hurts.
Hurts and Herbert. He was with Herbert before Hurts.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't know. That's where I get confused. Like, I think it's recency bias. People forget how bad someone is because of the team they're on now and how many wins that team has. If Mike McCarthy goes to the Patriots and gets hired, I know he's not gonna, or whatever, he goes there, gets hired, and he wins 15 games, like he's the best coach in the league. That's what people think, and it's like, how can you say that after how bad a few years he had? Like,
well, I think Mike McCarthy's going to be the
Mark
Saints
Sanchez.
guy.
He made a few Super Bowls. Yeah. Mark Sanchez made Super Bowls. I don't know if I think he won a Super Bowl, right? Didn't he beat Brady in the Super Bowl? I thought he did.
Sanchez?
But he's widely known. Yeah, widely known
for
as a butt fumble dude. You know, like yeah.
I don't think he was that good.
See, people know him for his bad play.
He
He beat. I'm pretty sure he beat Brady in the Super Bowl. Yeah,
He might beat Brady in a playoff game.
did Mark?
The Jets
played for
the Jets don't make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay, so
He
Mark
made the
Sanchez
playoffs.
beat Tom Brady in a playoff game,
Yeah,
January 16th, 2011.
yeah, they won a playoff game against them because they made the.
He threw 3 touchdowns with no picks. So he had some highs, but he's always known as his lows. My point here is if Matt Canada, like I said, if he wins the Super Bowl, he's still going to be known for as a terrible DC. Where like it's just.
The Bears have requested Rams assistant head coach and pass game coordinator to interview for the defensive coordinator job.
The passing game coordinator?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pleasant.
For the
That's pleasant.
defensive job?
Yeah, it's funny, Jared. Yeah, for
Yeah.
leading the defense.
His name's Aubrey Pleasant, Drew. I think you'd like that one. Yeah. Chuckle.
Huh. Well, I kind of know Josh McCown. He could still be the OC for the Jets. That's my prediction. But I do think Joe Brady, we're definitely going to see him get a job somewhere. I think when that run fizzles out. I wonder if
what's
the
still
teams are
open?
What?
Raiders? Who's
Yep.
all still open?
Raiders.
Raiders, Jaguars, Saints? Did they
Saints,
have
Cowboys. There's 4 left.
Cowboys? Okay.
So
Also, can we talk about how bad the Jaguars messed it up?
with the GM,
What don't they mess up?
Yeah.
What don't
You
they mess
keep
up?
Trent Baalke. Then you realize that none of the good head coaching candidates are going to come there because he sucks at his job. And then you're like, oh, shoot, we lost out on 2 or 3 of them, so we're going to fire him now. Like they
Yeah,
realize
what do you
that
mean?
not
Who
only
wouldn't wanna
can he
be
not
there?
fill the team, but he can't. Like head coaches aren't.
Who wouldn't
going
want to be
there
in
because he's there?
Jacksonville? Trevor Lawrence is so good. Who wouldn't want to be there?
you saw Liam Cohen. That would have been the perfect candidate, right? The Bucs OC. Then get to they give him an extension, then keep him there. I didn't see what the figures was. I saw it when it was in targets of making him one of the highest paid offensive coordinators in the NFL. But they keep a fun about the guy there. That's who I thought. It seemed as if after he pulled out of the job, that firing was made. Not saying it was in connection of 1-on-1, but definitely these other hirings definitely fueled that decision, as you pointed out, Zach. I think Kellen
they're
Moore
going after Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen, and
Yep.
I'm assuming both of them probably like we're not going there with Baalke still there. And then
Yep.
they're like, well,
So, but yeah, we're really waiting on some of these teams around the end. Todd Monken is actually being sought after in the Raiders job as well as that job. So that's a guy. And then of course Spagnuolo with the Chiefs. We haven't even talked about the Chiefs yet in terms of the officiating in that game, but he's being right. I mean, he's a candidate where you could easily see him at one of those spots. I feel like the Raiders more so. You definitely feel they're going to get an offensive mind again in Jacksonville. Or, well, I say that, but we also talk about Robert Saleh being a guy there. He's an exception, but otherwise you feel it's going to be an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Did you see that thing about the ref one of the refs that officiated the Chiefs game every time he's officiated the Chiefs game in the playoffs, he's like 6-0 or something. The Chiefs are 6-0.
I mean,
Like they've never lost a playoff game when he was officiating. Well, maybe there's
They don't
a
lose
reason
the
to that.
playoffs.
You know, I'm not trying to be that guy, but we can all admit the last like 5 minutes of the game, like the Chiefs just outperformed, right? They just played better.
Yep.
Right? They got the first downs. They They just played better. But you're looking at a 4th and 13, punting the ball, getting the Texans get the ball back, tie game, whatever. Probably good field position. Then they throw that flag. It's like, well, there's only so much you can do as a team. I hate the Texans, you know that, but like, I was cheering for them. You know, I can't cheer for the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think. Well, this is how I put it, and I don't know if you guys will agree with it. I think I think the Chiefs still played well enough to win this game. I think they still played well enough to win. I feel like even on Houston's side too. I feel like the refs helped the Chiefs, no question, more than they did the Texans. Calls went the Chiefs' way more than they went the Texans, but I don't know. I feel like it was enough to help swing, of course, to get them to win, but it wasn't why they won. It was part of why they won.
This is like the Rams Saints situation from like 2018 or whatever that was.
That was, and that was one play too.
Yeah, but that changed the game. Like that changed the outcome of the game.
That's
in all fairness,
I can't believe that.
There was like 2 calls total that went against the Chiefs, but they were big calls. That's why people are saying refs against Texans. But I know your point. It's like, they didn't help they helped the Chiefs win, but they're not the reason that they won. I guess.
I still am shocked. Do you? It clearly looks like it on film. Do you think Patrick Mahomes was slowly kind of like walking or like jogging to the sideline, like kind of near it to like wait? Like he was getting ready to take the hit, in hopes it'll be a legal hit.
You could say, it's smart. It's smart of him to do it. Yeah.
Looked like he was. Well, it's like trying to take a charge, right?
But it's different. It's like what Peyton
it's totally
used to do
different
during basketball. It's running in front of your defender and backing into him so he jumps over the top of you and you get a foul. You know, it's like, why do it? It's smart. It's the smart play. But then you're like, come on, dude, you're ruining the game. Like you don't.
NFL's got to do something. Like there's with how many, like one of the biggest issues in the NFL is the protection they give quarterbacks is like they start sliding, like a yard or 2 in front of the defender. What is the defender supposed to do? They don't slide, and you're standing there like lame duck. You're going to get ran over. And if you hit them and they do slide, you're getting a penalty. So they almost.
I don't know if you remember this. Earlier in the year, that happened where Mahomes was on the sidelines and he was running. And he looked like he was going to go out of bounds, but he stayed in. He ran for like a 30-yard touchdown on the sideline. People kind of eased up. Well, if you do that, you get benched, you give up a touchdown. They eliminated like you can't do
put that up on film,
But it's like what are you supposed to do? You hit him, you get flagged. You don't hit him, he stays up. Like anyone, Mahomes was just scrambling back and forth, and he just takes a little slide. Like you can't do that. Yeah. Stupid.
They got to do something.
Same thing happened with Heineke that 1 year.
What if they could pick up? What if by replay assist, we have deemed it was not roughing the passer or something?
They do it with everything else. Yeah.
Everything else. Why can't we pick up those?
They said that on the first roughing the passer, when he kind of hit him in the helmet a little bit, it shouldn't have been a call. But I don't know if it was Gene Sterator, whoever it was, came on and said. Mike, was it Mike Pereira? Whatever.
No, whoever ESPN guy.
Okay, yeah. Sure. He came on and said, normally you have the ability to pick up the flag if they deem it wasn't roughing the passer via replay assist, right? Normally that happens, but if there's any contact at all to the head, they cannot pick up the flag.
Yeah,
even if it wasn't.
We got to revise that.
They have to. Yeah.
We have to say
that's something that, like, why is that a thing that, he hit him in the head, but it clearly wasn't a penalty, but he hit him. So it's, like something's got to change there.
Yeah. I think how often they use replay assist?
The forcible contact, like that's all a judgment call. That's why it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to look different in real time than it's going to look on replay review, obviously.
Imagine if Jared Goff, that hit he took, if that was Patrick Mahomes. What would the refs do? Would they throw a flag? Would they let it go? Would they,
has there been a fine
when
for
he
that yet?
threw the pick? I don't think so. Not that I saw.
I bet there will be, but
like if Mahomes takes that hit, suspensions, fines. It's just I hate to be that guy to blame the refs on everything. It's just years ago it was roughing the passer with Clay Matthews when that started. It's like, dude, this is getting unwatchable. Then the whole PI situation in the Saints-Rams game. It's like, dude, they just ruined the game. Then they implemented a challenge to the PI rule. That lasted a year. People were overusing it. They got rid of it. And now we're back to the roughing the passer issue and refs having too much power. I like the replay assist. I love that. You can look at it and say, no, it wasn't. But like, do it on everything.
Part of the game.
Let them do it on every flag.
Yeah. They've done a lot better. I feel like pass interference has been less of a. I feel like over the last couple of years, we really haven't had a. I mean, a couple of years ago we did, but like we really haven't had conversation of this is getting out of hand. It's been the quarterback hits. It's been the quarterback scrambling with all the new mobile quarterbacks, right? And just being a common trend of the game. It's been how can we let these guys do it? But especially when they're runners, when they declare themselves as runners,
my thing with that is like, I don't know. I think it was, I don't know if it was Eagles Commanders back in the day when Heineke was like getting sacked, right? And the Eagles, I think, were like 10-0 or 9-0, and they had an undefeated season. And Heineke's like rolling back in the pocket, and he's about to get sacked. So he takes a little slide and he gets hit, and he
flops.
Why would you credit? Yeah, he flopped. He got they got flagged for it. Why do you credit a good defensive play, a sack, by throwing a flag because the guy decides to flop? Like, you have to think common sense here. He's gonna get sacked. He's given himself up, but he was toying around. He didn't go down. He was trying to escape. Why credit the defense or why credit the offense for flopping and giving up a sack? Like, it's just.
I think we also got to think. Okay, like, there's still some obvious roughing the passers. I think in the national championship game Monday night, there's a hit the shove against Will Howard. I don't know if you guys saw it at all, but like they're whatever. There's still some obvious roughing the passer calls. To my point, we also need to remember why they strengthened this, right? I mean, star quarterbacks were getting hurt. Not that they aren't still. I mean, we just saw Trevor Lawrence this year too take a illegal hit that was correctly called.
You said star quarterback. I thought you said star quarterbacks.
We're seeing good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, Jared, you really caught me there. We're seeing quarterbacks get hurt. I was thinking Aaron Rodgers. But
yeah. One more question. Do you think that Will Howard's gonna have a similar NFL case to JJ McCarthy, where he starts out not in draft talks at all and then kind of like works his way up into a top 10?
No, he won't be.
No.
Fifth rounder.
Why not? Why though? Why does that happen? Is it age? Is it not having to do much on your like? I would argue he did more than JJ did in college.
It's upside.
I don't know.
It comes down to that. I mean, Will Howard runs, but I don't think I think measurables too. Comes down to as well for these guys. I wonder where Will Howard is even mocked. I don't even. And also the guys think about the guys he was throwing to. I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. Igbuka is going to be. I don't mention Jeremiah Smith yet because we can't, not eligible yet. But Igbuka is going to be like, I feel like, he's going to go in the first round. He'll be a late first round pick.
Will Howard, according his PFF rank is 98. So end of the third, early fourth.
Okay, I said fifth.
Right, end of the third.
But to Jared's point, I think he'll shoot up draft boards, and I think a team after this performance, I think he'll shoot up to at least the fourth round pick. It's hard to say though, because what if Drew Aller? I think that could take kind of backfired on me a little bit after his playoff. Oh, he's doing so well, and then Notre Dame game. But if he declares still, I don't think he will. Mm-hmm. There's a couple other guys.
They also Jackson at 199.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Dart, I think
Dart's gonna go second round probably. I think.
Yeah, Dart's gonna go before Howard. I think is Howard QB. He can't be QB4 in this class, is he?
5. Well, this is according to PFF. He's 5. Dylan Gabriel's number 3.
Yeah.
I remember last year you had Caleb, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and then JJ was 4,
Last year's-
and then Bo Nix was 5, right?
Yeah, last
But
year's
like what I'm
insane.
saying is like, yeah, JJ didn't have much traction up until 2 weeks before the draft, and then he starts to climb boards and goes top 10 or 9.
It's because they're running QB. There was
whatever
such a
it
drop
was,
off.
like-
Look at the drop off from the next guy. I'm saying after
That's
Nick.
what Sanders and Ward.
That's
are-
why I'm saying like
that's-
even like, yeah,
That's probably why
because
Sanders
2
is
years
gonna go
ago
top
it
10.
went, you had CJ Stroud went early, Bryce Young went early, Richardson went early, but then after Richardson, Will Levis didn't go till what, 2nd, 3rd round, whatever it was. Like, how can you predict? This is a second. How can you predict where Howard's gonna go?
It depends on team
like-
need. It depends on
Well, it's also like
And how
these
quick other
teams like
quarterbacks go? Like,
they're gonna see like if a guy is they think like a 20 to 25 pick is where he's valued at as a quarterback, he's probably gonna go top 10. But like Will Levis,
Yeah.
I think everyone probably thought he was like a 3rd round pick. There's probably some teams that are like, we're just not gonna draft him at all. And that's why he ended up going back to the 2nd.
they were right.
But it's like if there's teams
But-
that
I don't think it's more on the player. I don't think it's the player because the Colts were that close to drafting Will Levis with the 4th pick,
no, they weren't.
and then Richardson went till the 2nd round. They were pretty damn close. Look up the reports. They were like back and forth.
Richardson would have went top 10 yet. His upside was insane.
yeah. You're taking his upside over
On
Levis.
draft day, I thought for sure the Colts were going to draft Levis. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's we have no idea what the teams are actually talking
I
about,
wanna
what
run
the
something
teams
by you
actually
guys.
think. Like, there's just no way that like we can have an idea.
Yeah. What do you got, Jared?
Yeah. So I'm gonna run something by you guys. This was win totals going into this year, just to like show where the teams ended up and like where their projections were. For example, the Chiefs win total projection was 11.5. Obviously, they had 15, right?
Yep.
I want you guys to try to guess the second high or tied with the Chiefs. Do you know who was projected 11.5?
Oh, I'm gonna say the 49ers.
I'm gonna say Philly. Philly
Yeah,
or Detroit?
49ers were 11.5.
Yeah.
49ers were 11.5. Yep. Detroit and Philly were 10.5.
I was gonna say yeah.
Take a guess where Denver. What was Denver's win total
5.5.
projection?
I thought it was 6.5.
Okay, Zach has seen all these probably because 5.5
Oh.
is the total there. What about Washington? Where was their?
I got
win
the
total?
first one. What is it? What is this?
Washington 4.5.
Yeah. Is that a
Yeah.
Drew?
But no,
What's your
I
pick?
agree with Zach. I
What,
was
you
gonna say
think
4.5 as
4.5?
well. Yeah.
6.5.
Okay.
How about the Patriots? I was
Ooh.
gonna do a few more.
I'll say 4.5 for that too.
Yeah, 4.5.
4.5. Yep.
Okay.
2 more. We'll do the Vikings. Where do you think the Vikings were?
Ooh, 7.5.
Zach?
6.5.
6.5. And the last one we'll do. How about the? Oh, this is hard. The Jaguars. How about the Jaguars? Where do you think their total was?
I'm guessing theirs was 8.5.
Wow.
Drew?
7.5 maybe.
I was gonna say 7.5.
It was 8.5.
Wow.
And they won what? 3-4 games? Yeah. Yeah. Bears were 8.5. Packers were 10.5 or 9.5. Cowboys, Lions, Bills, Bengals, Eagles, Ravens were all 10.5. So
Oh.
it's always cool to look back and see like
Yeah.
how wrong
So
some
that
of
means
them
we
were.
got the
and how
futures.
close. Yeah. I looked, there's nothing out yet, obviously, but for next year.
Bummer. Well, you guys got anything else here before we wrap up?
Do you guys use PFF's mock draft simulator?
I thought it was. Isn't it a premium feature now, or can you still do it?
You can do it. You can't do like trades or anything, but
I used to use it. Yeah, I haven't done anything yet. I'll do a Packers one.
Tennessee going. They're going Travis Hunter at 1, right? After saying they're taking generational talent first.
You guys are going to the draft, right? You're going to the draft?
I plan to.
Yeah.
I think they trade that pick to someone who wants a quarterback at 1. I think it goes Ward, Hunter, and then I think.
So what's Cleveland do for
goes.
quarterback?
What?
What does Cleveland do for quarterback then?
Well, I think someone trades up to 1. Does Cleveland trade up to 1? I mean, no. I think Cleveland gets Cam Ward.
Without any trades, I just did Travis Hunter in Tennessee, Cam Ward, Cleveland, Shedeur at 3 to Giants, Tet to New England, and then Will Johnson to Jacksonville. So
That writes itself.
Yeah, probably like Abdul Carter at 6. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where Chicago goes.
Offensive line.
You would think.
You bring in an offensive play caller. Yeah, he wants an offensive line. That's the weak. That was a weak point of the team, I'd say.
What if they get Genty?
They're not getting Genty. Everybody's looking at Dallas there and saying they're getting Genty.
That would be
perfect.
Cool if they did.
It's the perfect fit, right? Are they at 10?
12.
12.
10 is Chicago.
Dallas is 12. Yeah.
Just saying.
One more thing I want to say is how much I hate picks in Dynasty. Because I'm pretty sure my first round pick 2 years ago was to Will Levis. I'm pretty sure I wasted a first on him.
Traylon Burks 1-3.
Unless he gets
Moore,
traded somewhere. Traylon Burks, Sky Moore.
Pierce.
That wasn't a first.
You traded a
No,
first.
It was Jalen Hyatt. Yeah, Jalen Hyatt was a first.
I
or a
was
second.
on Jordan Brooks last year, so
Yeah.
Jonathan Brooks.
See, but you value so many first round picks, and I hate them. I never hit on them ever. So,
Yeah,
and you want my first for
do we ever
proven
think
talent?
it's
Hit me up.
part of the process, or do we think it's bad luck?
Whatever. I don't know.
I don't know, Jared, but you got to keep some more of your first because you can't be the worst team in the league and have a third round pick.
I haven't drafted. Yeah, I haven't had a first round pick in a few leagues in like 3-4 years. So the last time I had first round picks is when I traded them for Richardson to Drew. I remember that.
If you're winning the league, it's fine not to have a first round pick, but if you're a bottom 16,
yeah, I know.
Kind of tough scene.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, Jared, did UCLA end up beating Wisconsin?
That's gonna do it for today. No, yeah.
Wait, no, I'm serious. I actually don't know. I went to bed.
Yeah, they did. They won by
really.
83,
Wisconsin
82.
played so well in the first half.
So John Tanjay shot 7 for 8 from 3 or something, 6 for 7, and he stopped shooting. He just stopped shooting. He was 5 for 5, and then like 12 minutes left in the second half, he stopped shooting.
So
Blackwell took all the shots.
Wisconsin's
we had
offense is so underrated.
Ball down by 2. Underrated? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're one of the top scoring teams.
But but nobody talks about it.
No, I watched the Marquette game too. Exactly, because we lose Hepburn, we lose Tyler Wall, we lose everyone. They're going to be terrible. Rank them 10th in the Big Ten, and now right now we're like 5th, 6th because we have 3 losses. But
Purdue lost though. That was big.
15-4 is not a bad record. I don't care what anyone says. Like Marquette's 16-3 now because they won yesterday. But
yeah,
their
losses have also been to.
Okay, our losses have been to Marquette. Marquette, 3-loss team. Michigan, 3-loss, 4-loss team. Illinois, 3-loss team. This is our first bad loss of the year. UCLA.
I guess we had the Xavier and Dayton. Okay, yeah.
So I don't know why we're not ranked. We were like 12
You
and
guys were
3,
18th.
and there were teams that were
Wisconsin's 18th.
Well, yeah, I know, but before we got ranked 24th, the week before that, we were 12 and 3, and there were teams like 11 and 4, and they were ranked. It's like, why? Why do people hate us? I don't.
All right, that'll wrap it. Zach, wait, Zach, any basketball talk for you?
Nope.
Okay,
Zach's
that'll
probably
wrap
still
it.
down on the Bucks getting canceled tonight.
Yeah. Zach Rausch, Jared Valleskey, myself, Drew
Skyberg.
Skyberg, here on this Wednesday night. Thank you all for listening to another episode of Drew's Sports Crew, The Journey to Million, the perfect podcast for you.